Hello and welcome to Boss Business Strategies, where I bring you front row to the blueprint behind the brands, straight from the millionaire entrepreneurs themselves. I am your host, Dr. Marcea, and I'm a physician, I'm a life and business coach, and also a radio personality. And I help female entrepreneurs who are struggling in the business building process to harness their power, to build an authentic platform, and then to chart a clear path to business success. It's about the power, it's about the platform, and it's about the pathway. And so today I am beyond excited to welcome a powerhouse who has done just that. She is the founder of the first Black women owned, fully licensed character brand in major retail. It's called Afro Unicorn. With over $20 million in sales, her brand celebrates diversity, empowers children and women of color, and unapologetically shifts culture. Welcome, April, to the show. How are you?
I am living the dream. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are so welcome. From me doing some research, I mean, your brand includes plush toys. It includes bedding, home decor, hair products, t-shirts. What am I missing?
I the hair care line, did you say that?
Hair
Because
care.
that's
I did see the hair care.
so the hair care line, we've had fruit snacks, we've had you did say apparel. Did you say
Hmm.
apparel?
I said t-shirts, but you have the whole.
So we have a lot of different apparels, hair accessories. There's just so much. We have a plush and Build-A-Bear. Um, so yeah, there's a lot.
Now, as I have watched you, you're not only just building a brand, but you are shifting a culture. And I want to know, was this something with Afro Unicorn? Was this something that was intentional? I mean, you are normalizing Black beauty in spaces all over the world. Was this intentional when you started out?
So when I started out, my focus wasn't to necessarily normalize Black beauty. That came a little bit afterwards. I launched Afro Unicorn as a women's movement. I launched it to support and help other women entrepreneurs. I was being referred to as a unicorn because I own and operate an insurance agency. I was a licensed real estate broker at the time and single mom to two amazing boys. And my friend kept calling me a unicorn. And because I asked him why, he said, because you're running the businesses, you're raising the boys, that makes you a unicorn. I'm like, oh, I'm just a woman. That's just what I do. He's like, no, April, you do it at an extraordinary level. You are a unicorn. So then I started to think about what unicorns represented. I had to do some research on them. I saw they were unique. They were mystical. I said, I'm definitely unique. I'm all things Black girl magic. So I started to use the emoji over and over again until one day it no longer resonated with me because, yes, it did not look like me. And I just did not want to have just this white character be attached to what I said that I was. And so I went back out to find one. I couldn't, and I decided to create it. And then as we were creating it, as for my personal avatar, I saw the vision when the graphic artist sent me multiple ones in multiple shades. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a movement.
Mhm.
So before anything, I saw the movement of Afro Unicorn to help empower other people, to let them know that they all had unicorns within.
I love that we all have unicorns within, that our uniqueness is something that should be celebrated as opposed to something that we shy away from. That is amazing. I think, can you share with me maybe an interaction that you've had with someone who has either purchased your product or been connected to your product when they resonate with that unicorn movement?
I mean, there's thousands to millions. We've sold millions of products, so I can't think of just one story. It's a movement, so it's a everyday thing. I mean, I have stories from people, women, men who have been inspired by the business of Afro Unicorn. One gentleman comes into mind, particular, who owns Sweet Valentine's Bakery, who saw me out at a restaurant one day. He was my waiter, and he saw me with my unicorn shirt on. He was like, "It's you. You're April. You're Afro Unicorn. You're the first person who's ever promoted my business, and because of you, we're gonna open up a brick and mortar shop." And he started crying in front of
Mhm.
me. Maybe 6, 7 months later, that shop happened and it ended up exploding in the city of Carson, Sweet Valentine's Bakery. Then they just opened up their second location. And so I get those kind of stories all the
All
time
the
on
time.
that side. And then I have the children who just get elated to see a unicorn that looks like them. Like I said, when I launched Afro Unicorn, it was for women, but I still had children's apparel
Mhm.
as well. But this one video in particular, the two young girls who I later found out were young entrepreneurs, their mother had purchased them a shirt and they were opening the shirt up and they shot like a quick video. They were outside, had no idea what they were opening, but when they saw it, they just started jumping up and down and up and down. And there was this background song playing called What's Your Color? And it said, I want to know, you could be red, you could be brown, you could be purple, you could be red. And just the emotion that these little girls have and had, and they were from Southern California, and I recognized that they were from Southern California because we have similar yards. And so I saw myself as a little girl in my front yard shooting the same type of video in that moment. So it was in that moment that I just broke down in tears because I realized that I was helping to normalize Black beauty and that these little girls were now seeing themselves in such a positive light because they had not seen themselves in this mystical type way.
Mhm. Mhm.
So again, it's a movement that started with empowering people to believe in yourself, knowing that that's the greatest superpower of all. And it immediately evolved into helping to normalize Black beauty. And when I say normalize Black beauty, the reason why that wasn't a focal point for me is because I've always been comfortable in my skin. I've always looked at us as being such a powerful people. And that is why I was able to deliver Afro Unicorn unapologetically. So the normalizing Black beauty is not for us, it is for everyone else. Because
Ooh.
the issue and the problem is that the characters that we have seen and that have been portrayed have not looked like us. And so it's been the normal to have those other characters. When people say, well, can I rock Afro Unicorn that are not Black? I'm like, why are you even asking the question? We've never asked, can we wear Snow White or Cinderella or Barbie or any of the other characters? Because that has been normal for so
Mhm.
long. But now I'm going to show you what is normal and what really has been the staple of beauty since the beginning of time and has tried to be and has been, is the word emulated? I always say the wrong word wrong.
Emulate.
Emulated
Yes.
us
Us.
from
Yes.
the beginning, everything about us, from our hair to our skin tone. I mean, they tan, they do everything to try to look like us to enhance their beauty. So I'm just it's Black has always been normal for me. So I did not launch Afro Unicorn thinking I was normalizing Black beauty. But now I understand
Stand
that I'm helping to normalize it for the
for
rest of the world.
them. Yeah. Now that is powerful, and thank you for sharing that and bringing that to the forefront. And as I'm looking at you doing this interview, I remember when we first met. And I have to shout out Forbes Black. We were, or Forbes BLK, we were at a conference and you were one of the speakers. And I will never forget this because you said something from stage that kind of shifted my thinking. And what you said is that as you were coming through your journey, you would always seek out bigger stages. You would seek out larger rooms. You would seek out events where you didn't necessarily think that you may have belonged there, but you went anyway because you wanted to experience what was possible. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what was said, but interesting enough, as you were speaking, I thought about probably where I got that idea from.
Mhm.
I've always been a dream big type of person, and my mother always kept me outside of South Central where I'm from. Like whenever we would go to a movie theater or dinner, it was always outside of the inner city. But I even remember my pastor saying, preaching over us a long time ago when I was young, saying that, young in my 20s, but that is young. But I remember him just saying, like, you have to experience every level of life. He said anyone can afford to go sit at the bar at Ruth Chris during happy hour to get a $18 meal. But the fact that you've experienced something larger. So I've never been afraid to, like you said, walk into those bigger rooms and also aim for those bigger rooms. Like you saw me at Forbes BLK, and I'm now looking at the TED Talk. Like I just got to keep continuously getting to the next place and space, and we're not always invited though to those spaces. So it's a lot of networking that you have to do, research that you have to do to just make sure you're in those spaces. There's a conference that I go to every year in Cannes, France, and I'm probably one of 10 Black people, American, and I'm being very aggressive with that number.
Mm,
And a lot of people, even in the industry, and although this is the largest film event, it's called MIPCOM in France, the people here in Hollywood, they don't even know about like my Black people. They don't know that this event even exists. They have their own thing that they go to, but they didn't know about this one. I'm like, no, this is the largest film industry event for everyone around the world. So yeah, I'm showing up.
yeah.
If I can afford to show up, I'm showing up.
Show up. I love that. I love that. And just to kind of give folks some context, if someone doesn't readily know what a character brand is, I would think something like the thing that came to mind was like a Dora Explorer, where you see it on everything. You walk into the store and it's on thermoses, it's on lunch boxes, it's on blankets, it's on shirts, it's on whatever. That is what April Showers has built, and it's changing the world. So I wanted to go back to where this all began and getting started, those early days as you were being an entrepreneur. Can you share with us some of the kind of the first maybe few bold moves, or at least one of them that you did early on in your journey?
Bold moves. So I guess one of the biggest bold moves, I targeted celebrities from the beginning.
Oh,
So when I launched in May on social with just a few hundred to 1,000 subscribers, I made them my focal point to try to make sure that I was trying to like use influencer marketing to elevate the brand's brand awareness, but finding influencers or our celebrities that I knew would resonate with the brand of Afro Unicorn. So the first people that we reached out to in July 2019, Tiffany Haddish, Alicia Keys, Sherry Shepherd, and they all were very well receiving of the brand because I basically went in their comments and say, hey, have you ever seen an Afro Unicorn before? I create a brand of women of color who hustle, follow the movement. Tiffany Haddish already coined herself the last Black unicorn. Alicia Keys, I think the reason why she was even brought to me was because someone saw her in her pool with a big white unicorn floating. They're like, well, she loves unicorns, so she needs to know about Afro Unicorn. And then Sherry was having a time in her life where she kept talking about how before the Sherry shows, 2019, just how I saw an interview with her with Andy Cohen, and she was speaking on the fact that no one recognizes her and nobody knows who she is, and that they always assume, I forget the other actress name, but she's been confused with Oprah, but there's another actress that kind of favors her. And she goes, no one knows who I am. And I went in her comments, I'm like, sis, you a unicorn. I know exactly who you are. And so I was able to be very bold and step out to meet these celebrities and not charging me anything. They latched on. Alicia Keys has this exact same sweatshirt that I'm wearing now. And I'm going to Tiffany Haddish's prom tomorrow for the third year in a row. So I stepped out there with
Yeah.
just being not known. This is before the Walmart, before I became the first Black woman to have a fully licensed character brand in major retail. This was in the beginning.
In the beginning,
I
look.
just, I mean, I don't know. I've never been one to play it small or safe.
hmm I
I
love
always put a little bit of risk on everything that I do.
I love all of that. And in just from what you said, you said multiple things. One is that you targeted who you wanted to target. Okay, you targeted celebrities. And for those that are listening, okay, what April is telling you is to target folks who are going to help you. Target your market. Okay. She also was bold. She actually interacted with them in a way that touched a place that was that where it was needed, right? She found their pain point and her brand filled a need. She did some research. Okay, so April, you were just dropping gems just from just from the door, and so I really appreciate that. And she says, dream bigger. It's always go big. And she's never part of her culture. And tell me, I'm gonna ask you this: where did that come from? The always going big. What's that from?
When I was 4 or 5 years old, and they told me that Philippians chapter 4, verse 13 says, I can do all things through. And I said, okay, point blank, period.
I
There's nothing.
love it. I love it. How has then your faith been part of your journey as well?
It's been all of it. I always say that I've never been qualified for any position or any opportunity that I've ever held or received. It's been real alignment, hard work, but alignment. Like I'm always being put in the right places at the right time. And it's because I keep a very positive attitude. I typically don't let my reality determine my future.
Say that again.
I don't allow my reality to determine my future. Like I know that whatever I'm going through, I'm literally going through.
Through
So
it.
that means that there is another side to whatever the circumstance that I might currently be in. So because I've always been able to know that this life is a process, I know that I'm going through it and I'm not stuck or stopped, if
hmm
that makes any sense.
Yes, such a good nugget. April, we're going to pause for a second. I'm going to go to break so I can share some information from one of my sponsors, but we will be right back. For those that are listening, stay tuned for more. Are you a female entrepreneur who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure how to move forward? The Life Coaching for Business Builders program helps you harness your inner power, build your authentic platform, and chart a clear path to business success. You don't have to do this alone. Together, we'll create strategies, structure, and accountability to help you boss up in life and business. It's time to claim your power and make your business dreams a reality. And now we are back here at Boss Business Strategies. I am Dr. Marcea and I'm your host. And I have with me April Showers. She is the first Black woman who has a character brand in big retail. And so we're going to pick up there. April, I know that, you mentioned that your brand is in a Walmart as well as some others. I want you to kind of share a little bit about that journey and just kind of share with us how you approached those opportunities.
So that opportunity actually approached me. Walmart reached out via email. Originally, they saw us going viral on social media through a little girl's video. Someone walked by her and said, "I love your hair." She's wearing an Afro Unicorn shirt. And she said, "Thank you. It's an afro." And all the comments were saying, "That's Afro Unicorn's baby. That's Afro Unicorn's shirt." And so the buyer later told me when she looked at all the comments and saw Afro Unicorn, Afro Unicorn, Afro Unicorn, she then did a deep dive into our social media and saw that there was something there that wasn't the norm. It wasn't the normal studio. It wasn't this blockbuster film that was coming out. It was a grassroots movement of people who found a character who didn't even have a story behind it, like a movie or a television show, but they were still really resonating with the character. So she reached out to me and said, "Would you consider bringing in your character to our stores with party supplies?" And so from there, it went on to her introducing me to other buyers at Walmart and then bringing the character into their category, whether it be the children's apparel or the children's hair accessory or the bakery. That's kind of then how we grew. And then once you get one retailer, word spreads, and now the other retailers start to reach out. So the other retailers did reach out. So I have now, I'm understanding the business a lot more, and we're going through so much in this industry. So now I'm looking for other opportunities and other retailers to go into as well. So I'm like in the thick of it now. And then even with our hair care line, taking that line, which has done so phenomenally well. I'm the number one Black owned selling hair care for kids currently.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
we started in both Walmart and CVS. By the way, those buyers both reached out to me a day apart and asked me could I create a hair care line for their stores.
Wow.
And then since then we've launched in Target. And now I want to get our products in all the beauty supply stores. So we've now started to launch in beauty supply stores. I want to get into more beauty supply stores.
Mhm.
In this economy and the way things are going, I just want to meet my customers where they are. And
They are.
so trying
They
to
are.
have Afro Unicorn available in many, many places.
Yeah. So again, congratulations on that success. And you mentioned that that Walmart reached out to you, which I think is huge. And I'm mainly in a service-based industry, but I know there are those that are watching that are in product-based businesses. How would you recommend or suggest that they move forward? What did you do that allowed that marriage to happen where that person was wearing your shirt and things just started happening from there?
That's a whole lesson. That's a whole class. Um, because what you just express and explain is branding. That's how people want to know, how do you get in Walmart? How did you get in Walmart? My story is very different because I created a brand, a movement. A lot of people just have a product that they create, and I'm like, I want to take this product into the stores. Okay, but have you tested it? Do the people want it? What's the word on the street? Um, so a lot of people just aren't going to put in that work of
Mhm,
building a
mhm.
brand. And I built a movement. A brand to me is a movement. Nike is a brand, right?
Yes.
That's a movement. Even when Apple, I don't know if you guys can remember, but when Apple got really, really big, they got big because they did this whole marketing where they had like historical people, and they have this apple, and they were doing all these different quotes, and they were making it a very lifestyle brand that people could resonate with. So it became a movement. Um, I could tell you the other way to get in, like or to have those conversations. I always say LinkedIn is your friend. LinkedIn is where you get your ends. LinkedIn is a resource to where you can look at whatever store you are possibly trying to get into, and you can search the people that work at that store, and then you can look for their titles and see who is a buyer, and then you can even go a step further because it will say buyer for this, buyer for that, buyer for this, and then you can try to connect with them through their LinkedIn accounts. And then once you get one of their emails, you basically have everybody's emails, because whatever it's going to be, if it's um, your first name dot last name at walmart.com, that's going to be for everybody. So there is a strategy, but I suggest you work on creating a direct to consumer business first to see if there's even a desire for your products.
I love that. And what you just shared with us is the difference between cooking a meal on the stove versus putting it in the microwave. All right. And I am so with you on the creating the brand. And I always say that you are your brand. And if you start there and you build an authentic platform, now you are busy working, and the people who are there are who need you are going to see you. If you try to do something quick just to get a sale, that is not sustainable. And when folks see you, they're going to see not so much see through you, but there's not going to be the depth that they want, that they're looking for in your product or your service, in who you are. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. So I mentioned at the top of the show that I work with female entrepreneurs who are drowning in the business building process. And April, I want you to kind of just go back in time, if you will, and I want to know if there was that moment where you felt like, you know what, I've been putting in the work, it's not working. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. I know where I want to go, but it's not happening as fast. I know you said you started in 2019. Is there a moment that you can pinpoint, and how did you get through it?
Well, I'm really big on mindset. So I would never use a particular word like that I'm drowning,
Mm-hmm,
because words have power.
mm-hmm,
So for me, like I had 2024, like most people, was a very difficult year for us. Last year was a very difficult year for most business people. Anybody you meet, they'll say that 2024 was a year. But even through 2024, I knew that I was going to get through 2024. It definitely was one of those years where I felt like this could be it. But I didn't sit in that. Like I can never sit in that. Like I wake up every day, I do my gratitude journal. I write the 10 things that I'm grateful for. When you're focused on gratitude, it's very difficult to be sitting in complaints. And then because I have journals and I've been doing journals for a long time, when I had those moments in 2024, I literally took a pause, a break, a walk, and sat down on the ground, opened up my journals from 2021, 2019, and see how the things that I wrote down, how they have transpired. I definitely work on encouraging myself, but I'm very careful in the words that I choose to speak over my life, because whatever I know, for me personally, whatever I say, I'm going to have negative or positive. And so
mm-hmm.
I have to be very cautious in using the right
The
words.
words, yeah. So thank you for sharing. And the thing that you said, that how you kind of got out of that space, was that you went back to see what was happening in prior years and seeing how you got over the hurdle, you got over the hump. And you didn't say this, but I'll add in is that if God can do that,
Right.
he can help me through this process that I am going through now.
1000%.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. This is the moment, and one of the things for this show is that we find the $1 million moment, that thing that was you think was the thing that changed your trajectory the most. And so, April, if you could share with us of all the things that have happened, all of the moves that you've made, all of the great decisions that happened, all the things that, someone called you about to open the door. What do you think that defining breakthrough, that divine download, or that game changing deal that shifted everything for you?
Oh, it was definitely when I got the Walmart email because that opened the door for me to get into the licensing world. I am still the first Black woman to have a fully licensed character brand in major retail. Um, this is an industry that they don't look like us in, and it's a very close-knit industry that I didn't even know about prior to the email. I thought in order to get mass distribution the way AfroUnicorn received was that I would eventually have to sell the brand. So I knew nothing about the licensing industry, the $980 billion industry of licensing. I had no clue. And have had Walmart not reached out to me, I would still not know the world of licensing. So that was a game changer just based off of the relationships and the knowledge that I now have in this industry to where I'm able to develop even more characters and understand that there's another path into retail and another path into mass distribution than just building something to sell. Like I know that I can build something to license now.
Yeah, yeah. And with that, building something to license, you also were building a legacy for yourself and for your family. And tell us that moment. Tell us how that felt when you realized, you know what, this is going to work. This is going to be big. This is something that I'm going to be able to leave a legacy for my family.
Well, that was when I launched it in 2019 when I said that Afro Unicorn would be a household name and a worldwide brand. I literally launched Afro Unicorn because even the insurance company that I have, it's not a legacy insurance company, meaning if I die, my book of business will go to the next employee or not, we're not employees, but the next independent contractor. And so I saw a problem with that. I said, okay, I'm building this business that I am responsible for my employees, I'm responsible for my marketing, I'm responsible for my office, I'm responsible for all these things, but yet if I die, my children will not get it. So I need to start something that if something happens to me, I'm able to leave it to my children. So Afro Unicorn was literally created for that legacy. So I knew it was a legacy brand the moment I created it because that was the intent of creating it.
Love it. You are dropping some nuggets here on Boss Business Strategies. I love your story. I love your passion. I love your heart. I love your spirit, all the things. And so you have inspired millions. And I want to, as the one of the final questions I have, is that for that woman who is still in the dream phase, they looking to either they are looking to come up with a product, or they have a product and they're looking to launch it, or even if they're a service based entrepreneur, what is a final strategy or a mindset shift that you would offer her to build her $1 million dream from scratch?
Show up every day. You have to be consistent. A lot of the times, more often than none, like all the time, forget a lot of times, all the time, the person who is consistent will always beat the other person who just has this really great idea, right? I go back to the tortoise and the hare, which is one of my favorite stories. The tortoise will forever beat the hare. I don't care that the hare is stronger, faster, wittier, all the things. The hare takes breaks. The hare thinks that they got it just when they are, getting ready to get to the finish line. They're like, oh, I see the finish line. I'm good. Like, I can do this on Monday. I could put this off on Tuesday or whatever the day is. And the little tortoise is like, okay, I may not be as fast as you, but I'm gonna keep the same pace and I'm gonna keep going every day. So then the tortoise beats the hare. I grew up with a lot of those types of books though. So when I was a kid, and I hate that like right now PBS is under attack because I learned a lot. Even Popeye, like, the fact that he wanted to, what's the guy's name with the burgers? He's like, pay me for a burger today for whatever. All that putting off stuff don't work. And a lot of times we don't succeed in life because we're forever putting things off. We just don't remain consistent. And then even when we do say we're going to commit to this, we're going to do it, we get in it, we do it, we're showing up, we're posting, and then y'all fall off. I haven't
Yes.
fallen off. For the last 6 years, Afro Unicorn has been committed to support small businesses every single Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 our time, which is 9 to 12 on the East Coast. We do it every single Saturday. It wasn't like a trend. It wasn't something that we just started and just stopped. And a lot of times we start things and we do not see them all the way through. I have a real fear of quitting anything before it's supposed to do what it do. And some people just don't have that fear. I mean, it's a real thing for me. Like, I'm like, oh, but if I stop, what if the next opportunity, the next move is going to be my breakthrough? So for me, anybody that's starting anything, I don't care what the idea is, start it, but remain consistent in it. If you're not promoting your business, why do you think I want to support your business?
Say that again. Yeah, so powerful. And what I heard you say is consistency. And you said you haven't quit. You haven't stopped in 6 years.
Hmm.
All right, so I need to give you some snaps for that because that is we think it's something magical. We think it's something special. We think it's a unicorn, right? But it's a it's a basic concept of show up every day and do what you were put on earth to do. Show up.
Hmm.
Show up. I love it. I love it. So as we close, I want to ask you what's next for Afro Unicorn, but I also want you to speak to those individuals who are looking to either purchase your product, but I also heard you mention that you're looking to get into beauty supply stores. So I want you to speak to those owners who may be listening, and kind of share with them what your mission is, going from this point forward.
Okay, so Afro Unicorn's full focus right now is entertainment. So we're working on the animated show special, then followed that by a live touring show. I'm really focused on the April Showers brand, so working on just how I show up. We have a retreat, the Magic Manifest Magic Retreat that we just had this past April. I just launched it. There's another one happening in October. That's for women entrepreneurs. You can follow me at Got April Showers on Instagram. I launched my own YouTube channel, which is I Am April Showers TV. Afro Unicorn has a show, the Miss April's Crown and Bookstore, currently on Afro Unicorn TV. Afro Unicorn is for official. The website is afrounicorn.com. As far as the beauty supply stores are concerned, we are actually in position to be in all beauty supply stores. If you are a shop owner and you don't currently have magical tresses, you can check your catalogs. They should be there for you to order, or you can just reach out to me directly and we can figure out how to get magical tresses into your stores. But yeah, I just like people to stay connected to me. And if you follow me, you'll see all the things that I'm doing. So got April Showers on Instagram and on LinkedIn, I'm April Showers.
Amazing. So much goodness uh, coming out. And the thing that and you mentioned this at the top of the show, it is the branding, right? Everything that you're doing is connected. It's succinct. It makes sense. It has a purpose. It's even though there are lots of things, they're all together. And so I just want to applaud you for giving us a what do you call it, a workshop on branding and purpose. And as you said, I think you said you're living the dream or living your best life or something like
Living
some
great, living
living the
his
dream. We thank you for sharing with us today. Thank you for coming on the Boss Business Strategy Show. We look forward to supporting you and watching you grow and hopefully being in the room at one of your future events. Thank you thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And there you have it, straight from the source. Afro Unicorn is not just a brand, but it is a blueprint for success. So we want to thank April for being here and just for helping us to refine what's possible in our lives. She told us to dream big. She told us to watch the words that we say. And she told us to show up and be consistent in whatever it is that you are doing in this world. So stay tuned for more from Boss Business Strategies and hear more $1 million moments. I'm Dr. Marcea, your life and business coach, physician, and radio personality, bringing you in entrepreneurs who are millionaires, who are doing the darn thing. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.